Joining me now is Tracy V. She is the owner and photographer at Studio V Photography in Springdale, Arkansas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. Nice to see you. And I'm so excited to speak with you about wellness and art. I read that you have a psychology degree, which gives you, I think, a different perspective than many artists, maybe.
Yeah, I do use my psychology, I think, a lot when I'm dealing with people in my studio.
Oh, right. There's that whole aspect too. So
Yeah.
dealing with the public and people who want to have their picture taken, I wonder, I know I get really nervous and stressed if someone's going to be taking my photo. But
Mhm.
you're dealing with that all the time.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed and I've really started to hone in on it is insecurity. Like,
Hmm.
we are just insecure people.
Yeah.
No matter what background we come from, no matter how pretty or skinny or confident we are, we're not really confident. And
Hmm.
it's amazing that I see that every day walking into my studio. And
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. How does that affect you as the artist, as a photographer?
it's it's interesting because it's funny because I'm going through a revelation right now, because I'm dealing with my own insecurities too. And I think, good grief, wow, why at
Right,
this stage
right.
in my
They
career am I
crop
dealing?
up like out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah, and one, I think it has switched my whole messaging with people because I really focus a lot on women. I love photographing women. I love seeing the transformation that happens when they walk out of my studio, from going from feeling like they're not pretty, they're not strong, they're not smart, they're not these confident women, that when they first walk in, that's the first thing I see is confidence. I don't see all the stuff until they start pointing it out, right?
Right.
So my goal when interacting with them is to bring out that inner strength.
Hmm.
It's not about being sexy. We all know women are sexy, right? I
Hmm.
mean, sex appeal is how we win wars sometimes. I mean, women have a strength, right, over men when it
Hmm.
comes to that garbage. Women don't need to be told they're sexy. They need to be shown how strong and confident
Hmm.
they are.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
yes, my art is through beauty, but it's also, I think it's also giving people the confidence that, hey, you've got something to offer to the world.
Right.
You
You're
are something
actually,
more.
so through that experience of being photographed, um, I feel like that could really improve somebody's emotional state, improve their wellness if they can get themselves to come there and do it.
Yes.
You're showing them the best side of themselves, it seems like. As the artist, how do you manage your own health and wellness? Because it seems like as a photographer, you have to be kind of adaptable. Some things are in the moment,
Mhm.
and you may not know exactly until you're right there. Um, I don't know. I wonder how that is for you on your end.
So I think setting boundaries, healthy boundaries, helps. And then also focusing on why I'm in that room with that person.
Mm-hmm.
When I can focus on them and how I need to meet their needs, it does something for me too. And
Mm-hmm.
seeing the transformation that takes place is a lot for me. But I think a lot of it comes in me willing to be strong about what it is I want to provide for them.
Mm-hmm.
So setting boundaries has become very important to me.
So it sounds like you figured out where your skills are, though
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to learn more and step outside of that. I think that's super important to maintaining a less stressful environment and
Yes.
feeling good about what you're doing. Being able to say no to
Mm-hmm.
things that don't fit. I
Yeah.
think you're right. Artists, a lot of times, we say yes, 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 because we want to interact with the world and we want to
Well,
put
we're people pleasers in a way.
right,
Think about
right.
it. I mean, in our personality, we're help. I think artists are naturally, even though I know a lot of us can be introverts in a way. We're also kind of helpful people.
Right.
Like, I think we want to change the world. I think we want to help the world. And so that makes us yes people and a lot of times. So yeah, as artists, if we can start to say no and set those boundaries and not be so much yes people, I think it really does help with our well-being, bringing it back, because the all the negativity that comes with doing something that you don't want to do is not worth your mental health at all.
Right. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. What other strategies do you use to maintain your mental health, general health, and wellness? Because that sounds like a really good advice.
Gratitude. I've learned this year to live with gratitude for what I do have and stop focusing on what I don't have. I think Tony Robbins says it best. We are rich. I mean, we have the nature. We can walk. We can go to the mountains. We can go to the beach. We can walk on the beach as if it's our own. Like, you know, we have a lot of wealth around us if we just focus on the beauty of what's around us. Be grateful in the day. Grateful that we have the day. I've lost so many friends recently.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's been a really tough time.
It's been a tough time, and I'm really grateful to even have the day. And I think self-education, continuing to work on yourself, discipline, surprisingly, is a lot. We talk a lot about self-care, and a lot of people think self-care is, oh, I'm just gonna fluff off and eat all kinds of crazy food and drink my wine and you know, and that's self-care. It's not really, because you wake up the next day with a headache, feeling guilty because you overate, stomach ache. And I'm finding that there's more freedom and discipline. There's freedom from mental stress, and that in discipline, because it's getting me where I want to go. It's helping me change. It's helping me reach goals. So I think constantly, I know for me, working on myself is something that helps my well-being, because I feel like I'm moving forward and actually starting to reach goals.
Sure. And then you can show up for a subject that you're photographing feeling, you know, secure and relaxed, because you've stuck with the discipline of doing everything you need to do. I think you're absolutely right. What people label self-care isn't always self-care.
No. It's just a reason to indulge, right? And I'm not saying that every once in a while, so what, you have a day like that, right? That's fine every once in a while. I mean, sometimes, you know, self-care for me sometimes is reading a book and doing nothing else. You know, just laying around and reading a book and being okay with that.
How luxurious is that? When you have to lay around and read a book. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great conversation. Thank you for joining me. How can people get in touch with you?
So they can reach out either through my website, which is studiovnwa.com, or they can call me at 479-200-5209. Excellent. Facebook, Instagram, send me a message. So
wonderful. Thanks so much for joining me.